He went from primetime star to Hollywood's biggest punchline. Jussie Smollett had it all: fame, fortune, a lead role on one of TV's hottest shows. But when he thought his career was slipping, he tried to pull the most outrageous stunt in modern entertainment. He faked a hate crime. And now, years later, after losing everything, he's back with a documentary where he doubles down on the lie.
I have a special place in my heart for people that lie, get caught, and keep the lie going, even though the whole world know he lying and you still won't admit it.
Why? Because he's broke. This is the story of how Jussie Smollett went from star of Empire to a cautionary tale of ego, lies, and desperation.
I am not. I am not. And I am innocent. I could have said that I was guilty a long time ago.
Let's rewind. Back in 2015, Jussie was cast as Jamal Lyon on Empire. It wasn't just another TV role. The show exploded into a cultural phenomenon. Millions tuned in every week, critics praised it, and Jussie's character, an openly gay musician navigating fame and family drama, was celebrated for breaking barriers on television. For a moment, Jussie wasn't just acting, he was an icon. He performed on stage, signed record deals, and was seen as a voice for change. But behind the scenes, things weren't so perfect. As Empire rolled into later seasons, ratings started to dip. Cast contracts were under review, and Jussie's role wasn't as secure as it once was. Rumors spread that he might be written off the show. To a star who had just tasted fame, that kind of threat can feel like the end of the world. And that's when everything went off the rails. In January 2019, Jussie told police in Chicago that he'd been the victim of a brutal hate crime. According to his story, two men attacked him at 2 a.m. in freezing temperatures, yelling racist and homophobic slurs, putting a noose around his neck, and pouring bleach on him. He claimed they shouted, "This is MAGA country." It was shocking. The news spread instantly. Politicians, celebrities, activists, everyone rushed to support Jussie. It looked like he'd become a victim of America's ugliest side. But it didn't take long for the story to fall apart. Police began investigating, and the details didn't add up. Surveillance cameras didn't show the attack. Jussie refused to hand over his full phone records, and when the suspects were finally identified, it wasn't some random group of racists. It was two Nigerian brothers who actually knew Jussie personally. Not only did they know him, but they admitted he had paid them $3,500 to stage the attack. And here's the part that really tipped police off. When officers arrived at Jussie's apartment, he still had the noose around his neck. Hours later, who does that? Who leaves evidence of an attack on themselves like a costume accessory? Detectives immediately felt something was off. It was too theatrical, too staged, and soon their suspicions were confirmed. The truth was explosive. Jussie hadn't been attacked at all. He had orchestrated the entire stunt himself, recruiting two men he already knew to fake the assault. And why? Prosecutors argued it was simple. He wanted attention. He feared his role on Empire was being cut, and he thought being a victim of a hate crime would boost his career and secure sympathy. Instead, it destroyed him. As soon as the scheme was exposed, Hollywood turned its back. His role on Empire was slashed. The show itself never recovered its reputation. Prosecutors charged him with filing a false police report. At first, the charges were dropped under suspicious circumstances, sparking outrage across Chicago. But the case was later revived, and in 2021, Jussie finally went to trial. The jury didn't buy his story. He was convicted on 5 counts of disorderly conduct for lying to police. His punishment? 150 days in jail, probation, community service, and a $145,000 fine to pay back the city of Chicago for wasting resources. But the conviction wasn't the end. If anything, it was the start of his freefall. Jussie appealed the ruling, but that didn't stop the damage. His reputation was destroyed. No major studio wanted to hire him. The music career he once tried to build evaporated. The industry that once embraced him now saw him as toxic. So what does a disgraced actor do when Hollywood slams every door shut? He rewrites the story. Now, in 2025, Jussie Smollett is trying to crawl back into the spotlight with a so-called documentary. And instead of owning up to the hoax, he's doubling down. He's still claiming he was attacked, still blaming the media, and still painting himself as the victim.
Been said,
I would not be my mother's son if I was capable of one drop of what I've been accused of.
I'm like, man, you ain't your mother's son, buddy.
But here's the truth. This isn't about justice, it's about money. Because Jussie Smollett is broke. Legal fees drained his finances. The fines from his case still hang over him. The show money is long gone. And with no acting roles and no hit songs, there's only one way left to make cash: controversy. A tell-all documentary where he plays the victim again, hoping people will watch, stream, and maybe even believe him. But the problem is, the world doesn't buy it anymore. The evidence was overwhelming. The police, the jury, even the Nigerian brothers he paid, all testified to what really happened. And yet, Jussie refuses to let go of the lie. Instead of admitting fault and moving on, he's chosen to cling to a story that destroyed him, hoping it'll somehow bring him back. The sad part? It's not working. Early reactions to his documentary have been brutal. People see it for what it is, an act of desperation. Critics are calling it shameless, a last-ditch attempt to cash in on infamy, and fans who once supported him feel betrayed all over again. Think about how far he's fallen. In 2015, Jussie was a household name. He was performing at the White House, praised by Michelle Obama, and celebrated as a groundbreaking star. Today, he's known as the guy who staged his own hate crime. His legacy isn't talent, or art, or even scandal. It's fraud. And the irony is, if Jussie had just accepted his role on Empire fading, he might have quietly built another career. He could have gone into music, smaller shows, or even directing. But he wasn't content with fading into the background. He needed the spotlight, and in chasing it, he set his entire career on fire. Now, the documentary isn't reviving him, it's cementing him as Hollywood's cautionary tale. Proof that no amount of fame, privilege, or PR can save you if you lie on a massive scale. What makes this story even wilder is the psychology behind it. Jussie didn't just lie once, he stuck to the lie for years. Even after being caught, even after being convicted, even after spending time in jail, he still insists it's all true. That kind of delusion isn't just arrogance, it's survival. He's so deep into the lie, he can't climb out without admitting total defeat. And for someone who once built his entire identity on being a victim, that would mean giving up everything. So he does what desperate people do. He monetizes it. He takes the very scandal that destroyed him and tries to flip it into content. It's not a comeback, it's a confession of how far he's fallen. Jussie Smollett's story is Hollywood at its darkest, and it's still not over. What do you think? Will the world ever forgive Jussie, or is his career permanently dead? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're new here, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss a breakdown like this.
Not only were they not white, they were very, very black. They were Nigerian, which is the funniest shit. The whole story is funnier now. This is MAGA country, you faggot nigga.